White opens the match with a picture in leopard print boots, followed up with "You wanna be a good boy?" question mark, which is way too kinky for the opening, and this girl is for the streets, making it an inaccuracy. Black hits back with Y-E-E-E-E-S, me, good boy. Step on me with your boots, mommy with 4 Ys. Please, please, please. And this is just outright embarrassing. Why would you beg to be stepped on and go as far as to say please 3 times? This is clearly low elo Gooner who just made a blunder. I'm praying that bro's friends see this because when they do, he will be finished. White then spams screenshots, and there is nothing more soul destroying for a man than goddamn Snapchat screenshots, so this is a brilliant move. You just know this shit is going on our girls group chat, which is the most satisfying way to checkmate a Gooner. Our second match starts with I'm 19. How old are YUOU? And this is a prime example of the legal opening. There is nothing safer than checking if your opponent is of age, and this is a book move. Black then responds with 15, which is another book move. If White is even a day over 18, then they're gonna have to abandon this shit. You're watching text just though, of course they have to be a ditty in the making. Actually, I'm 15, is White's response, and to call this person D1 Gooner would be an understatement. There's a special place for illegal players like this, and that is the ban list. Criminal move. I hope to never see this player again, so let's move on to the next match. White starts with, how are your boobs? Which is questionable. Who the fuck thinks that would be a good pickup line? However, since it's the first move, White can have the benefit of the doubt, and I'll call it an inaccuracy. They are okay, is Black's grade 3 spelling response, but I don't blame them for the lack of effort here. They've just been asked about their by a stranger, and I wouldn't exactly make sure my spelling is up to standard. Good move. White doubles down and says, let me see, which is a command. No please, no can you, just straight up let me see. I mean, you have to respect the confidence. Even Epstein was confident. This is way too early, making it a mistake. No. Just no, and I can't really fault this making it a good move. We all know that no means no, so hopefully White listens to Black. Apparently that's too much to ask for though, because White triples down and responds, I just want to make sure they're okay. And at least they spelt there right, but White has nothing else going for them. How down bad do you have to be to ask twice? These Gooners get thirstier every video, and this one made a blunder in the process. Let's see if this next Gooner does the same. And White opens with, just out of curiosity, what is your love language? Which is a solid book move, trying to learn about White, who responds with WDYM, revealing that they are in fact a dumbass with this mistake. Who the hell doesn't know what a love language is? And no, edging is not one, so don't even look at me like that. White then sends an image that shows the love languages, which is a good move. You have to respect White here for being patient and explaining. Black replies to this with, oh, physical touch, FS, and who are they kidding? The only physical touch they've gotten is from their mom tucking them into bed. This is still a good move though, because you can't fault someone for sharing their love language. And White decides to share theirs too by explaining, nice, ! Mine is active service, haha. And this is the last thing you want to say to a Gooner unless you want to set off their slave fantasies, which I assume they don't, making it a mistake. Black sees an opening and says, oh, yours is active service, ? Then suck it, eggplant emoji. And nobody can ask a girl to suck it on the day you first text them, other than me, of course, although typically it's a guy. Anyway, this is an insane blunder, allowing White to send a nervous emoji, which is the face I pulled too. Checkmate. White kicks things off with hey with 2 Ys and a smiley face, which is kinda zesty coming from a straight dude, but a book move nonetheless. Black hits back with hey with 2 Ys again, completely mirroring White's first move, which is boring as fuck, but still a book move. White decides that the game needs to be spiced up and asks, trying to get that pussy eyes emoji, and I know that 2 Ys means a girl likes you, but not enough to be pounded just yet, buddy. This move was played way too soon, causing it to be a mistake. A huge plot twist is then dropped by Black, who says, I'm trans, which means they actually have a dick. This is a definite trophy move and adds a lot to the plot. For me, this would make things better, but I'm not sure about White. White responds with skull emoji, my bad, trying to get that ass eyes emoji, and this is almost a brilliant move, but I have to call it excellent. A brilliant move would have been just asking, trying to get that cock sucked, or subscribing to Text Chest and joining the Discord in the description. Maybe the second one is a bit more tame. Unlike the next game, which begins with random question, can you burp on command, and this definitely is a random question. I'm frightened to see where this one goes, so it is an inaccuracy. Black hits back saying, unfortunately, no, can you? Give me a cold ass Coke though, and I'm set. Good move. Despite the question being weird, Black responded like a good boy. White then asks, but actual big burps or just small ones? Inaccuracy. I had no clue that new opening strategies could still be made in text chess, but apparently they can. I've never seen someone so desperate to learn about their opponent's burping mechanics, and it seems Black is thinking the same thing as they reply, is this a fetish thing? Which makes all this shit make sense. Of course it's a fucking fetish. Being turned on by burps is another level of degeneracy though. It's not like I do, I promise. Good move for calling bro out. White responds with, well, ... Yeah, sad face. So at least Black knows that they're weird as hell for being straight into that shit. He got through the 5 stages of grief quickly and jumped straight to acceptance, which comes with resignation. Taking us on to the next game. White kicks things off with woof in response to Black asking if they're a good boy. This is some degenerate shit, and anyone who woofs for someone should get the real dog treatment. Get this guy neutered. Black hits back with, like you mean it, blank, which is a good move as they are trying to be the dominant one in this situation. She's probably just after money or some shit. Woof, woof, treats please, is White's response, and who the fuck invited a furry to Tinder? I get it, a lot of Gooners tend to think with their second head on this app, but take advantage, know that that one doesn't bark, and this warrants a blunder. Black takes advantage of how down bad White is and replies, come here sweet boy, kiss emoji, which I hear every day, but in this context it makes me cringe. This is not a sweet boy, this is a animal making this a mistake like White's birth because they do the unthinkable and send a literal voice message barking for Black. I thought typing that shit was degrading enough, but this dude generally barked like a good boy and I hope his entire bloodline sees this, unless they're all wolves. But it's only the start because they follow up with, so when's the appropriate time to ask you to sit on my face, ? And it keeps getting worse. If this guy likes being a dog so much, then maybe he should be put in the kennel for a few weeks to have some reflection for this outrageous move. Black gets back with, when you bark for me again, kiss kiss. And at this point, this is an excellent move because it's so obvious she's just trying to humiliate him, and it works again because White sends another woof 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 dog emoji. My face is yours to smush, and what the fuck am I even reading? I hope his face does get smushed with fucking slaps. It scares me that people like this are allowed to roam free, and in my opinion, they should be kept on leashes at all times. Wait, never mind. Next match, White opens with, I hate little people and baked beans. Eliminate minorities. And is this dude Kanye West? This is an inaccuracy of an opening, and hopefully just some dark shit humor, but knowing that people in my videos, it's real. Black responds saying, what the fuck, which is perfectly reasonable response to someone proposing the elimination of minorities. Good move. This annoys White, who goes on a rant. Jimmy Savile was Britain's greatest nonce. Nobody did it like him. Boom, bang, bing. Jeffrey Epstein speaks Cantonese. I want to fuck on the first date. And I know I've already called this player Kanye, but there is no one else to compare him to. The first thing that comes to my mind after reading this is his generational Twitter run, which is why this move is a blunder. Black asks the simple question, are you special? ? Which is a forced move, and I think we all know the answer to that. Yes, sorry, no surprise there as White resigns, taking his elo from 108 to 100 and Black's from 203 to 211. And also taking us on to the next game, where White replies to Black's profile with PS, 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 also known as the E-Kitten Gambit. Instead of saying PS, PS, PS to lure a pussycat, this guy's saying PS, PS, PS to lure a different kind of pussy, which is a book move. Black responds with meow with 4 W's, which is also a book move and a common response to the E-Kitten Gambit. White then says, good kitty, kiss, starting the actual Riz with great move. He got the confirmation that Black is into this shit and continued it. Black hits back with purr with 2 R's, and the cat roleplay is kinda dragging now, which is why this is a miss. Just say some fucking words like White, who replies, easy now, might just need to take you home, put the collar on ya. In fairness, Black seemed into this, but the message got ignored because it was way too soon to take the kink that far. I think White got a little too excited, which caused Black to resign and will hopefully cause you to like and subscribe to Text Chess, aka the best channel on YouTube. And if you don't think so, fuck off. Anyways, let's move on to the next game. White starts us off with how tight, and this is definitely one of the most questionable sides of openings. Nobody can start with this and expect success unless they look like me, making this a blunder. Black hits back with loose, period. Poop just falls out, which is a weird response. I get White asked a weird ass question, but the part about poop falling out was far from needed. However, since it was used against the Gooner, it's an excellent move because it'll deter them for sure. White then drops a plot twist and says, bruh, I meant how tight are we, revealing that their opening wasn't even a mistake. It was a book move after all. This is a good move. Black is the Gooner in this game, and I am sorry for thinking otherwise, and they reply with, oh. We chill, and you can hear the pain in that oh. They feel the embarrassment of thinking White meant their ass, and rightfully so. Who the hell cares about your ass? Inaccuracy. White finally responds with ALR, which is a resignation. I wouldn't want to talk to someone whose ass is loose either. I like them unused, personally. Next match, White opens with almost just why said something so bad, which is stupid as hell and a mistake. If what you were about to say is quote-unquote so bad, then why the fuck would you want to draw attention to it? Black responds with WAT, say it, which is a forced move. There was no other outcome here other than to ask what it was. White then says, OMG, it's so bad, don't judge me. You look like you have a pink pussy. LOL, I'm joking. LMAOOOOO. Yeah, a bunch of O's. Someone tell me how many O's it is. I have no idea. And then bye with a few more E's, and someone tell me how many of those there are. And this dude might actually be a psychopath. If you start your message with don't judge me, then please, for the love of God, don't fucking press send, because it's obviously gonna be a criminal move. The only person judging White here will be the Supreme Court. This brings Black's ELO up to 302 and decreases White's to 279. Neither of them have anything on me. And I doubt these next players do either, as White starts off with high with 2 eyes, which is a book move with nothing much to it. But then again, less is more, so I'll give it a good move. Black hits back with, hey, what's up? And this is also a solid example of a book move, greeting the opponent and starting the conversation. Finally, a normal match. White replies with, watching my neighbor's kids, HBU. Great move. This shows that White is a good person and also knows how to take care of children. She could definitely take care of me. Hit me up. I'm not a child, but you know. Black then does the absolute unthinkable and says, haha, same, which seems normal until you read the shit that follows. I got new binoculars, so it's much easier from the window, and I want every single shop in this f***ing country that sells binoculars to give Black a lifetime ban. This man is not a bird watcher, he's more of a kitty fiddler, making this a blunder that led to White resigning out of fear. This next game is the first one that actually happened on chess.com and starts with moving pawn emoji, question mark, question mark, question mark, and I assume White is telling Black to move a piece, which is a book move. Black hits back with, I'm thinking, LOL, I'm in a bad position, which is a good move for a response. Let a man think, especially when they're trying to win a game of chess. That shit is not easy. White then responds saying, I want to talk to you. We can do a good position, winking face with tongue sticking out. Blunder. Trying to drop a game on chess.com is absolutely crazy work, especially when it's as bad as this. I bet White started on the game of chess with pawn to d1 because this right here is a d1 Gooner in the wild. Next game, White kicks things off with the Enriz opening, which is the most common opening in Tinder matches and a book move. They like the profile of Black before saying, DW, I love corn. Deeply, because the profile said Black did. We all know that this is bullshit and White is just trying to secure the huzz, but this is a good move nonetheless. Thank God with 5 Ds is the response from Black, followed up by, what's your FAV way to eat it, which is a great move. This bitch must really love corn, but not as much as I do. I'm not talking about corn. White completely misunderstands Black and replies with, from the back, oh shit, the corn. Corn salsa is such a staple for me, but I also grew up on corn from the cob, so it's close. Holy blunder. First of all, we know, and I mean we, that this dickhead googled types of corn because there's no way he knows what corn salsa is. As well as this, the aura loss from thinking Black meant pussy is insane. If I was White, I would retire. Their elo goes down from 109 to 106, while Black's goes up to 140. They were very lucky White blundered, and I'll be very lucky if you join my Discord with the link in the description, and of course, subscribe.